5 months on the job, and Pope Leo XIV sat down for his first interview. In talking with a Catholic magazine, the first American pope addressing many controversial issues, but says much of what he does draws on his roots, growing up in the Chicago area.
Even at home, I mean, I grew up a White Sox fan, but my mother was a Cubs fan, so you couldn't be one of those fans that shut out the other side. It was like, we learned, even in sports, to have sort of an open, kind of a dialogical, friendly and not angry, competitive stance on things like that.
More of a lighthearted moment there, but he did address major topics like President Trump, LGBTQ+ issues, women in the church. Well, Vatican correspondent Colm Flynn is joining us now. It is always so good to see you, first of all. What are you tracking here? What did we learn in this first interview?
Natasha, great to talk to you. And boy, there is so much in this. An interview that was conducted over 3 hours in the Vatican just next to me by my wonderful colleague, Elise and Alan from Crux. And as you can imagine, over 3 hours, they spoke about everything from, as you mentioned, their growing up in Chicago, his time as a missionary in Peru and Latin America, to then becoming the Pope and one of the most famous people in the world. In fact, Natasha, he said that he feels like he was thrown in at the deep end and that he's still learning on the job. But to the more serious points which were peppered throughout this wide-ranging interview. For example, Ukraine, the war in Ukraine. We had always been told under Pope Francis and his pontificate that the Vatican was constantly offering to be a place to mediate and somewhere that the two sides could come together in a neutral setting. Pope Leo XIV in this interview said the Vatican acting as a mediator was not realistic, and that's the first time we've heard that. He said that instead it could use its voice to call for peace and represent Christians all over the world and also people of goodwill. He talked about artificial intelligence and the dangers that that poses to humanity, to the workforce. He said, for example, deep fakes and fake news, he said this was completely destructive. And actually, Natasha, in that same sphere, in that part of the interview, he mentioned Elon Musk. He said, in the news, Elon Musk is going to be the first trillionaire in the world. What does that mean? What's that about? If that's the only thing that has value anymore, then we're in big trouble.
That is fascinating. Really appreciate it. Colm Flynn, I wish we could speak longer, but thank you so much for bringing that to us in Rome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.